Welcome back to a paint along video. My name is Megan Kinart. I'm in Morden, Manitoba, practicing self-isolation with my family, and thought I would do some of these paint along videos to help entertain kids, give moms and dads maybe a little bit of quiet while their little ones are distracted. My kids, Eli and Claire, are not painting with me today, so this is a little bit of a quiet time for me, but they will be joining in the next videos. They've chosen their next paintings. If you have some suggestions, I'd love to hear what you guys come up with. I do have a special request for today, which is for a very special class in Brandon, Manitoba. Their teacher works at River Heights, and she is my sister. So let's see if you can guess which teacher it is. I'll give you some clues as we paint along. First of all, this is a pretty big clue. We are going to do a giraffe. So this teacher misses something. Her favorite animal is a giraffe. So we are going to do a rainbow giraffe today. I have all my colors ready and set up. Yellows, pinks, black, white are always my helpers in this too. Okay. I know this teacher did a project with her little ones called Don't Laugh at Giraffe. Maybe you can already guess who this is. Okay, first off, I'm gonna take some green. If you don't have green, you can mix your own using yellow and blue. But I'm gonna take a little bit of white. I'm gonna take my, oh right, I should introduce my brushes too. I have a Papa brush, a Mama brush, and a baby-sized brush. And as we paint along, I will tell you which brush to use and when. So first off, I have a baby. Or sorry, this is the mommy brush. I'm going to take some green over to my white. I'm just going to make a very, very light green so our giraffe can get its outline done. This is a very, very, very light, kind of a minty green. Mix it up all nice so it's not so streaky and more one blended color, like this. I'm going to take my baby brush and I'm going to start the outline of my giraffe. Now, how the giraffe starts, we're going to do a bit of a peak in the middle. So find the middle of your canvas near the top. So not too high because we have the horns kind of things that go above the head. But right now we're going to do a bit of a hill. So there's like a mound that sits up at the top of our giraffe's head. And then it's going to start curving down on each side. Okay, even a little bit farther. There we go. Okay. So from there, we're going to come down right around that bend. You're going to go down, maybe a little bit wider there. And that line is going to start to curve underneath. So this is your giraffe's chin. And then we're going to have this side, the right side, come down and meet that curved line, like this. Okay, kind of a silly shape right now, but that is how it's looking. Okay, we're going to do the neck. So the neck is going to be smaller than this line. You're going to plan for it to come down each side like this. And try and keep it about the same width, maybe a little bit wider near the bottom. All the way down. Okay. Okay, then we're gonna do the two horn things here at the top. So one on each side. There's gonna be a little bit of a curve right here. Like this. They really do look like a horn. Okay, and we're gonna do one on this opposite side. Try and make them about the same width. So that's how wide they are. Just like that. Okay. And then from where this rounded piece right here comes, we're going to start an ear, which comes out to a point over here, and just under this mounded piece right here, we're going to swoop up and join. Okay, and the same thing to this side. Whoops. Sorry about that. This mound, that's going to be where the eye socket is, just well under it anyway. So we're going to have that piece, nice rounded line, and then underneath that mounded piece, we're going to have it come to a bit of a point. So those look like leaves, even elf ears. There. Excuse me. I'm going to rinse out that baby brush of mine. Always dab off your extra water before you start the next one. Okay, so I'm just going to fill all of that giraffe in with that minty green that we did. I made quite a bit of it, so I have lots to cover up my giraffe. There's a cute little face. And the neck. All the way down. Just gonna give a little bit more in there. Okay, and as you do the ears, I just want you to stick, maybe widening this line up just a little bit like that. Just a little bit wider on that top line. There we go. So that is the outline of your giraffe so far. Make sure it's got a nice coat, and because of the texture of the canvas, it might show some of the white pieces in between. So I like to just go over my brush with my brush a little bit more. There we go. Much better. I'm going to jump back to my baby brush, and I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to move that close to the green, and I also need a little bit of white. I'm going to take some of that yellow over. So making more of this custard creamy yellow. Okay, so right where, remember how we did the line there, we're gonna go up just a little bit. The mouth is going to come give us some nostrils in the center. So nice and round. This side too. My green's still a little bit wet. Okay. It's gonna come out like that. And then we're gonna actually bring it down just a little bit. You wanna stay inside that line that we did when we first did our face. Just blending on there. So it's kind of like a little bit of a frog looking piece. Rinse that out because I've got green on there. Grab more of that yellow. Gonna make my nostril areas a little bit bigger. Okay, and then with this yellow, I'm gonna start doing a couple little dots, moving up to that bit of a mound that we had done to start with. And I'm gonna do a little bit on this side of the horns in the yellow. A little bit of a yellow highlight on the ear. A little bit of the highlight just at the base of the ear on this side too. And you can go ahead and give a couple spots going around his snout area. I'm going to do some longer spots coming down this way. Adding a little bit of the darker yellow in there too. And darker yellow. Just a little bit. And rinse that out. Wiping off that extra water. I'm going to take some green. I'm going to add a couple more little freckles, really. Adding those in those areas. Give them a nice big spot, maybe coming down this way. I'm taking a little bit of my dark green into that light green, just so it's a slightly darker. There. You don't want to be too goopy, but I'm just going to start shading around this part of the head. So just being a little bit rougher with my brush. Do a little bit on this side too. That side of the horn. This side of the horn. Under the ear. I'll do a little bit under the chin. And a little bit coming down this way too. The eyes are gonna sit here. So if we just give a little bit more shadow coming down. Okay. Let's do some pink. Let's do some orange. I'm just giving myself little tiny dots here. Let's do some blue. You can see that there. A little bit of red. And rinse out that baby brush, get the extra water off. Okay. I'm gonna grab some blue. Dabbing blue. Doing a little bit more around the nose right there. So this is the bridge of the nose kind of coming down like this. And it's blending for me on the canvas. Let's do a spot underneath. And do a little bit of blue in here. Coming up a little bit higher. Like that. We'll do some blue in the middle, kind of going with the yellow like that. So this technique, when you're drawing, it's called stippling. So I'm just bouncing my brush, making these little dots, adding more and more and more, so it's all kinds of layers. Couple spots over here. Can do another long one maybe down here. Rinse that out. You can grab some orange. I'm putting a couple spots around. Oh, picked up some blue. Do a nice orange spot on the neck. Do one down this way. Making sure I stay in the line there of the neck. There we go. Adding a little bit of orange. So this is nice layers going up on the outsides of the blue, more into that yellow. A little bit more on the ears. Okay, rounding out from the bridge area of the nose, kind of following around, going like this. Slowly putting those dots in more of a curved line. It's going to help give us a little bit of that contour that we're looking for. Give a couple more orange spots there in the nose bridge. Okay. Now let's grab some pink. If you don't have pink, you can make pink easy with red and white. So kind of copying those same spots there in the orange. I'm not covering them all up. I am doing layers. So it's sitting on top in that orange. It's Party Giraffe. It's gonna be cute. Are you ready for another clue about the teacher? This teacher likes to wear silly socks, which I do too. And it's one of my most favorite things to do with my sister is we go sock shopping. Okay, we're gonna do a line down for another spot, maybe widening. Giraffe spots are kind of like puzzle pieces. They don't quite touch, but they sort of fit together. I'm gonna grab some red now. I'm gonna put red more on the bridge of that nose where it's mostly those condensed little dots, right? Following that curve that we did. Maybe a couple more layers inside that blue area on those little horns. More in the nose. Give them a couple spots on the chin. Use red and put a red spot there. Maybe one down here too. That would look really good. Put a couple of those red dots on the top parts of the ears. Those stippling. Rinse out that red. I'm going to do a little bit of purple. So I'm going to take a scoop of my red, scoop of my red, scoop of my blue. Got a nice purple. I'm going to give nice purple spot over here. And then we're gonna do some more purple on top. ears. Lots of layers going on. The bottom and the blue by the crease where it will connect closer to the head. Oh, it's looking like a party giraffe. Give a couple spots there around the face. Okay, excuse me. Now we are going to take some black. So black is a very tough color to cover up. So if you're going to do this part, you do it nice and slow and not too much paint. I put just enough on the tip of my paintbrush to give me control. If I press too hard, it's going to split the bristles open on my brush and make a bigger mark than what I want to do. So I put paint on my brush, kind of wiping some of that off, and I like to roll my brush so it gathers all those bristles and I don't have any ones that are sticking out where they shouldn't be. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the eye over on this side first. So remember that mound that we had did, silly me, that curves around like this. So just on the outside, this is where the ear is. I want you to follow that line. That's the ear. You can sort of brush some of those lines out. We can revisit this in a minute here too. But for our eye, what we're going to do is you're going to make a C. Nice and slow. I'm making it a little bit thicker. You might not need to do that if you already did it. Okay, and then from inside that C, I'm going to go under. So there's, if you have like a halfway mark in your C, I'm going to go one little line under to bring the eye out and give some eyelashes to my giraffe. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing to this side. So we're going to do a C, well, a backward C. Find just under the halfway. Give some eyelashes. Giraffes do have really long eyelashes. Okay. And we're going to jump back to this ear. So we're going to do a darker line following up. So you have this really skinny piece at the top. It's just going to come out. We're going to bring it down just a little bit. Okay, and then don't fill it all in, but start to sort of lightly brush those black lines over. And we'll come back in there with some white. So same thing on this side. We're going to follow the outside of the giraffe's head. Following that beak to the ear. Okay. Just gonna rinse my brush. I don't have white on my plate. You're gonna need a little bit of white. Okay, so white. First thing I'm gonna do is put white inside here. If your black is dry, perfect. If you have to wait, that's okay. You just wait a bit. This part here too, I'm gonna do the white of my giraffe's eye, maybe a little bit higher so it matches the other one. Okay, so back into those ears, white. Sort of doing the opposite, and then it's gonna start turning gray. But it's gonna give us this nice little bit of a blend that makes it kind of look a little hairy and more shadowy. Nice shadows in that ear. I'm gonna rinse my brush. And I'm gonna do it to the same ear on the left side. So nice and clean, white, starting white on the outside, and then meeting the black going inside. You can kind of go back and forth like that. It brushes in. Add a little bit more white if you need to. I'm going to add a little bit more white on this end. Clean your brush because we're going to jump back into white. And this part here, just going to lighten some of that around the eyes. They kind of have these eyes that stick out, that gives them character. Just a little bit of a brush on there. He's coming along. The next step, what we're gonna do is jump back into the black, still using that itty bitty baby brush. We're gonna work on the nose, the snout area. Okay, so on the outside of this nostril, I'm gonna do a little bit of a half line there, more like a C again, but not too big. And then I'm going to take a little line that's going to curve up, so flat on the bottom. And this little wave of a line is going to meet it. So you have this little window. Fill that in black. And I'm gonna do a little line just on this side of this nostril, flat line here. We want these nostrils to kind of curve, pointing more towards their ears. They don't go straight up in the middle. You want to make them similar in size too, if you can. Nice and slow. This one is a little off for me. Better. Okay. And then we're going to give this Party Giraffe a bit of a smile. So it's going to come across. So you still have some underneath. Curve up a little bit on the outside. A little bit wider in the middle. Thin as you can, reaching up along the edge of the mouth. I'm going to make this come down just a little bit to a point. A rounded point. You don't want it to be a triangle, but just enough there. Okay, just gonna rinse that out. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some yellow, that dark yellow, some of my purple. So if you can see that, there's that purple I had made. Adding it to yellow. And it's gonna give me a brown. Which is gonna be perfect to give our little nose some more dimension. So I'm just gonna do that stippling trick. Coming down a little bit wider. So we followed the nostril, the top of the nostril is going that way. Now it's coming down, kind of in a triangle. When I get closer to the black line, I'm not going to touch the black line as best as I can, just because I don't want it to get muddy. Pick up that black and then dab that. Doot, doot, doot. And then underneath, just a little bit. Sticking to the middle there as best as I can. I went a little bit wider. That's okay. Rinsing that out of it. I'm gonna jump into that white again. I'm gonna do a little bit more of these little stippling lines on the outside, on the inside there, on this side too, kind of bumping into that darker, that kind of brown yellow color that we made. Going up and around. Under the chin area right there. Lots of stippling to do. And do it back and forth. And do some on this side too, just underneath. Oop, that was a big glob. I'll try and thin that out the best I can. Gonna take some of that white on the inner side here. So where it still has some green, or the yellow, if you have the room. I'm gonna do some over here too. Gonna give him some wrinkle lines. Some nice, just a couple white lines. My giraffe is gonna have some blue eyes. So I'm taking some blue. This white should be nice and dry now. Giving some blue eyes. You can fill that all in with blue, and we'll come back with a little bit of black and white too. Rinsing out my baby brush, grabbing some more black. So we need some hair. Little spikies coming off the tops. Like how I do grass when I paint. Lots of layers. How I paint fur. Got these little tufts. I'm gonna do a couple little black stippled marks on the insides of the horns. Just helps give us some of the extra contour. A couple more on here. Not too many in the black. A couple more coming down the bridge there. Straighten up some of my lines that I have. I'm gonna grab that dark yellow and that black. Dark yellow and that black, just to give a little bit more shadow here. So when I paint, I like to kind of sit back and take away, look at what's happening. Learn as you're doing it. Sometimes if you look at something and go, oh, that looks silly, and you just keep on going, working at it. Every time you do, you learn. Just try and try and try and see what happens, and then you learn from it. All right. Adding a little bit of this darker color. Some of these bottom edges of the giraffe. Puzzle pieces kind of that we did here. Just a bit around the bottoms. Kind of an outline a little bit there. Maybe a little bit for a shadow. I'm going to rinse that out. I'm gonna take that baby brush still using black, and I'm gonna do a black circle, well, semicircle, in the top part of the eye. So that's not a full circle, it's just a little half circle. We'll let that dry before we revisit. So I thought it would be really fun to do some bubbles. I'm gonna use clean baby brush. I'm gonna take some pink. And all around my giraffe, I'm gonna do pink circles. If you don't like pink, there's lots of kids that don't like pink. You can choose a different color. You can do purple, orange, blue. Different sizes of circles. I know my sister also likes polka dots, and she also likes pink. I wonder if you know what teacher it is. I think she's already told you that I am her sister. I thought maybe if you were to share this with your friends or your family, that you could maybe get them to guess too. So these, I'm kind of thinking like bubblegum pink. I'm gonna make that one a little bit bigger. Wrap it around my edge there too. So I'm working on canvas. If you don't have canvas, or you have canvas board or paper, that all works out really well too. And crayons do the trick, or markers. And then share your work with your family and friends. Ask mom and dad to help you text or email grandma and grandpa. Say, look at what I did. I did a party giraffe today. A couple smaller ones. Oh, how cute is this giraffe looking? Do a couple small ones. Nice and small. And maybe one up here. I'm gonna rinse that out. Looks like the black in my eyes are still wet. So how you can tell is that it's got a little bit of shine. You see that in the eyes? So I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer for that to dry. I'm gonna do a little bit more stippling around the nose here. Lighten that up a bit. So white, and maybe that yellow, back to that, oops, that light yellow. little bit there just to lighten it up slightly. Layer, 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 layer. Then you can take a small little line of that darker yellow. Put it in between on that black. Looks like his tongue's sticking in there. Nice and slow. Rinse that out. Sometimes my colors get all muddy. Okay. And for the finishing touch, I am going to take some white. Nice clean brush, and I'm going to put it on the insides of the eyes. Make sure you're dry. And then you know what? I'm going to do that too for my bubbles. Do two, one, two, one bigger one, and a smaller one. Big, small. Maybe just one in those little guys. Big, small. Kind of close together too. If you only have enough room for one little dot inside, just do one. This gives the impression that they're more 3D. Oh, that one was really big. That's okay. Oh, I got pink on that. Big, small. Maybe on these really big ones. Can go do a little line opposite side. Just a little curved line on those bigger ones. So they're little happy faces. See little happy faces? That makes it look like a bubble. Bubbles. No wonder it's a party. Oh, so cute. I'm not going to worry about the tiny little ones. There we go. Little smile bubbles for our little giraffe. Party giraffe, having fun. There we go. Just gonna make my line a little bit thinner. So there's things that you can do to correct if you think that you've slipped up, or just try again. You don't have to do it one time. You can do it lots of times if you want. I like to touch up some of my spots. Maybe a little bit more white here too. Help the eyes pop out a little bit more. Maybe stipple that in there too. Thin it out a bit. Well, little giraffe. There we go. Okay, so thank you to my sister, my lovely, lovely sister, and Brandon, and for your class painting along with me today. I would love to see the results. I know Mrs. Vogel is going to send me some pictures. I would love, love, love to see what you kids have come up with. Brighten my day here in Morden. I hope to help brighten your day in Brandon. Okay, thanks guys.
So cute.